What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand. I am your host, Lynette Jackson, and it's good to be with you on another Tuesday. So let's talk about this weather here in Atlanta. I'm trying to tell you right now, I found out that I think we're going to get a little warmer this week, but we always kind of get duped a little bit here in Atlanta. It's like spring came out, the trees started blooming, dogwoods were trying to come out, Bradford pears were trying to come out, and then all of a sudden, whoop, we get this cold snap, and winter said, I am not done. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm ready for it to be over. I'm tired of being cold, okay? So bring on the spring. So happy Tuesday to everybody. It's March, and we're about to hit April soon. Wow. So yeah, let's bring on the spring. Bring on the spring. I hope everybody had a great week and your week is going well. And you're making it do what it do, right? I hope you are making it do what it do. Well, again, I am so excited to be here with you today. My guest today is so super, super cool. I've known him for a while. Matter of fact, it was Hank Stewart that brought us together. Poet, Emmy Award winning Hank Stewart that brought us together is where I first met my guest. I call him Captain EJ, and I think everybody else calls him Captain. I don't know if they say Captain, but I call him Captain EJ. But today we're going to be talking about behind the uniform. He has been a firefighter for years. I'll let him tell you all of that. But in the world that we live today, I know he has seen it, been there, done there, got the t-shirt. He just maybe not be wearing it anymore. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that a little bit. But we want to talk a lot about behind the uniform. We always see him in front of television, and he's in front of the uniform. But we're going to talk about the man behind the uniform. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get ready to speak out loud. Let's go.
You're watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand.
About that. See how modest she is, y'all? But let's go. So roasted crickets, I'm like, not eating that.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Every day showing up, even when you don't feel like it.
And now your host, Lynette Jackson.
That's right. I am your host of this awesome podcast called Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand. And today we're going to learn the story behind the uniform and behind the brand of my good friend, Captain Eric Jackson. But before we do, I just want to share with some of you who may know me, may not know me. For those that know me, y'all know I'm just Lynette, right? I'm just out here having fun, doing what I love to do. But for those who don't, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Lynette Jackson. I'm the owner of Roar Media Group. Roar is a digital marketing company that helps its clients speak out loud in the marketplace. Let me show you how we do it.
Roar Media Group is a full-service digital marketing, branding, and web development agency. Our mission is to help our clients speak out loud in the marketplace and grow their businesses by leveraging the power of digital media. We specialize in creating customized strategies that are tailored to meet each customer's unique needs and objectives. At Roar Media Group, we utilize cutting-edge technologies and proven strategies to create innovative digital marketing, branding, and web development solutions. Our team of experts is dedicated to helping our customers reach their goals by providing strategic advice and support. Contact us today at roarmediagroup.com and schedule your free consultation.
That's right. Log on to roarmediagroup.com, schedule your free consultation. And listen, we work with small businesses, we work with nonprofits, we work with churches. I mainly work a lot with churches, and that's really what I consider to be my wheelhouse. I really love doing what I do. Speaking, no pun intended, speaking of doing what I love to do, speak out loud, speak. Watch this. Wow, I know, right? I am about to get back on the road to do what I do so much, which is build leaders, uh, inspire, motivate women, build businesses, help folk out. That's what I've been put on this earth to do. One of the things that my mother said to me was the greatest gift that God gave me was under my nose, and that was my ability to speak. And so I have, starting in April, I'm launching a new website that's really going to promote my speaking career. Most of you may or may not know, and maybe I'll even do a show on it. I have written a book. I wrote a book back in 2011, really before people started talking about depression and anxiety and things like that. And I chronicled my journey. It's called Hollow, When Everything That Means Anything Is Taken Away. Well, Hollow took me all over the world. Hollow took me to platforms that I didn't think I would ever be on. Just a little girl from Philadelphia, from West Philly, born and raised, was, speaking on platforms in Thailand and speaking with people on platforms that didn't look like me, didn't have her like me, didn't have any of that stuff. And I was so surprised. I have gone around the world pretty much. I've been to London. I've been all over speaking. And I hadn't been doing it. And so I have been feeling this call and this tug in my spirit to get back to do what I know I do well. And that is inspire, motivate, and connect with people, build leaders. And so if you're looking for a powerhouse speaker, yes, because you have to amp yourself up, you have to talk yourself up. You're looking for a powerhouse speaker, you're looking for someone to moderate a panel for you, hit your girl up. Go to LynetteJacksonSpeaks.com. We're launching the website in April. And I can't tell you quite yet something else that's new and exciting that's about to happen. But I'm telling you, you're going to know real soon. And it's going to make a lot more sense. But for now, listen, if you want to be one of the first few people to know what's happening, just go to our website, LynetteJacksonSpeaks.com, and get on our mailing list so that I can send you out a gift. That's right. You're going to be one of the first people to get this gift. All right. Well, let's move on with our show. I am super excited to interview one of my friends. And I met him, as a matter of fact, when I was speaking about my book. I met him at Columbia High School. Hank Stewart does a career day, and he had various different professionals come in and speak. And we were paired in the same room. Okay, we were paired in the same room. And we're going to tell you a little bit of funny story about that. I know when he gets on here, but he was talking about the fire department, and I was talking about my book, Hollow, and I was speaking that day. And so without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others and share my good friend with you. I'm just going to say it the way I say it, Captain E. Eric L. Jackson. What's up, Captain Jackson? Love, much love for you.
Yes, love
Okay.
all over the place.
I almost felt like you was about to call me what you call me. It was almost popped out. I think it almost popped out. You were like, okay,
Well, it didn't. Because we got codes and we know how to keep it personal. We know how to keep it professional.
That's
So I no, I'll only with your permission while I let that go. Other than that, and yes, if I'm
okay.
keeping your audience that's in suspicion, that's good.
Yes. All right. Maybe we ought to let them know. Okay. So
Yes.
so we met, right? We met
Hmm.
at the Columbia High School years ago, years
Yes.
ago,
Yes. Yes.
doing a career day that was sponsored by the Stewart Foundation, Hank Stewart and the
Yes.
Stewart Foundation. And so
Absolutely.
we had all of these professionals there. We never forget us being in the auditorium, and we were paired together with a few other. I think wasn't Mo Ivy in our? She was in our group too.
She was. She was
Mo
a very
Ivy.
a prominent radio personality, former radio personality, and lawyer here in the city. Yes.
Right. So you know they had a powerful team with us, right? So
Hmm.
we go in and we are paired together, and so I'm actually literally saying, "Wait a minute, aren't you?" I remember saying, "Aren't you the guy on TV?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Aren't you that
Wasn't
firefighter guy on TV?"
Yes. Yes. I'm that guy. I'm that
That
guy.
guy. So okay, so everybody that knows you be like, "Yo, that's Captain Eric Jackson." But listen, for those that don't know who you are and how and why so many people who do know you love you, tell us what I call the four clarity questions. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? And who do you do it for? And we see that you are driving, you are on the road, you're doing this, you're doing that. So I see you getting that wheel get together and swirling that wheel. You know, that's an old school move, right? That's a Cadillac in the leaning in the back with the sunroof top. When you do a wheel like that, that's old school. Because everybody can't make a wheel go like that. But I see you. Go ahead.
Well, that's some of my that's my wheel game.
Okay, yeah, you gotta have wheel game.
Digging in the scene with the
With the
what,
gangster lean. Woo
and you know
woo.
this.
Woo.
Well, you know what? In full disclosure, I am stopped, so your audience can know that yes, even though I was getting my wheel game in and turning the wheel smooth, I want to make sure I got to a place where I was static and where I was not moving, and certainly that's all too important. I am Eric L. Jackson. I am Beverly Jackson's baby boy.
Okay. We love us some baby Beverly Jackson.
Yes, yes, indeedy. So, and mom resides in California, where I was born and raised, and came out here to Georgia in 1994, in April of 1994, to pursue a career in the fire service, one that I had been pursuing literally since I was 5 years old, and it is documented.
Wow.
Uh, I ended up retiring from DeKalb County Fire Rescue Department. I say that name very proudly. I was able to retire, standing up, shoulders broad, feet facing forward, walking out the door or walking out the firehouse. I did I did that job for 28 and a half years, serving as a
Wow.
fire captain online and as the department spokesperson. But I also did it for, not only did I do it for God, but I did it for the people because I felt that was my calling.
Mhm, That's right.
And so that's why I had so much joy going into that profession, and why I took it as seriously as I did, and wanted to do my very level best in this particular role, not only as a fire captain, providing those much needed emergency and non-emergency services for the people of DeKalb County, but also from a public relations or public information perspective, providing the information to the people so that they can be informed about what's going on in and around DeKalb County, but not just DeKalb County, but within the region
Mhm.
and all throughout the country. So, and I guess I could say the world, because I did get a little airtime on CNN and
Yeah,
headline
you
news
did.
every
Mhm.
now and again. Even so much so, my mom and my family from all around the country, they have spotted me and called me on it. So I was very
Nice.
thankful, very and truly grateful for those opportunities.
Well, you did get a lot of airtime, and I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I'd be like, okay, didn't remember your name at that point, but I'm like, you're that guy. You're the
Hmm.
guy from TV. Every time there's a fire, there you are with the fire captain's hat on, and you're out there explaining what's going on, and so that day we literally were paired up to as I would say co-speakers.
Hmm.
We had to go in there, but I did. I think I counted. I bribed my students. Remember that day I gave my students money. You can get your students money. Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
not that day. Not that day.
I had a little trick where kids kind of like don't pay attention a whole bunch, and so
Hmm.
I kind of did a little financial thing with them, and we did have a few folks that were paying attention. So
Yes.
that day we discovered, like, wow, so first and foremost that we have the same last name. And
Yes.
that was one of the hugest, funniest things, because we were going from different classrooms. And so I'll never forget the students, every classroom we would go in is like, are y'all married? We're like,
Right.
no, I just met this guy. I just met this guy. You're like, no, like y'all married. Y'all look at Lynette Jackson, Eric Jackson. Like, no. So full
Hmm.
disclosure, I am not married to Captain Eric Jackson. Okay. He has a beautiful, beautiful wife and two kids. So tell us about your wife and kids.
So let me say that I even though you are not my spouse, I love you with the blood of the good Lord. So I think that certainly needs to be brought out, because I do
Absolutely.
not only do I have
Absolutely.
love for you, but I have great respect for you and what you're
Thank
doing,
you.
and I just absolutely love your not only your podcast but the intro. I love it.
Oh,
But
thank you.
actually, I'm at an event uh, where my wife is actually having a film event for our youth, and
Nice.
it's the DeKalb Entertainment Youth Film Festival. So it's the young people who have done the work and who have gotten both in front and behind the screen to
Hmm.
begin to cultivate their skills
I love it.
as it relates to their love and their thirst for wanting to get into the film industry. So I'm here to support her on that, and I have had, as you see, the seat is empty now, uh, my nephew with me to expose them to these opportunities. And it's
Yeah.
important that we expose our young people to these opportunities. So she is doing fine. I have two sons, Eric Lance II and William, 21 and 19 respectively. One's at Georgia State as a sophomore, the other's at Southern Crescent as a freshman. So the Jacksons are doing all right. We're
The
doing what we're doing.
Jackson. But I remember when those guys were little dudes, right?
And strollers, right?
Those guys were little, but now they're in college. They're in
Yes,
college.
yes,
Man,
yes.
so that should make you pretty proud.
It does. It does. And the state of our young people is really important right now, because quite frankly, those, be honest, those that look like you and me are under attack.
Hmm.
And so we just need to be able to position ourselves strategically through our
Hmm.
actions so that we can get to where we want to be, so that we can be the professionals that we're destined to be, and so forth. So we just really have to, as a family unit,
Yeah.
position ourselves, that village, right? That village we've
Yeah.
always heard about. Just have to position ourselves in village position to be
Yeah.
able to guide them to what it is that they need to do. So
So let's start from the beginning, because you
yes,
said
ma'am.
something in the very beginning. You said 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
You knew you wanted to be a firefighter when you were five. I mean, because like little boys be like, oh yeah, I want to be a firefighter because they like the red truck and the siren and everything. And oh, I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be a police officer. I'm gonna be a. So you knew you wanted to
Yes,
be a firefighter when you were 5.
I did. I did. Ooh, and pardon me, just give me 5 seconds. Yes, ma'am.
Are we in trouble?
No, I'm just on a live podcast. So
Sorry. I
that's
thought you
okay.
needed to show me if she's rehearsing.
Okay, that's fine. That's my nephew, and we're here. I brought him here to for this event.
Okay.
So
I'll take care of him.
Thank you so much.
That is so are you in like the Red Clifford? Are you in some similar to Red Clifford?
So I'm in his cousin's vehicle, Clyde. So, and that's gray. Yeah. So
Okay.
Clifford was red. His cousin Clyde is gray. And
So
so
Captain Jackson used to drive this red truck with the lights and everything, and we called it Red Clifford. We called it Clifford. So she just said, "Are we in trouble?"
No.
Because when I guess the fire department show up at an event, it's like,
It's like,
are we in
ooh,
trouble?
what do we do?
Did we violate something?
No, not at all. And when I told you I parked, I literally parked. I'm not in the fire zone. I'm not blocking anyone, but she saw the car and I'm up front. So I wanted to, well, full disclosure, I wanted to be discreet in directing my nephew to the movie theater. And I saw her walk in front of the car. I'm like, oh boy, how am I going to work this one? And so while you were talking, I was using my hand that you can't see to bring her in. I grabbed her to let her know that I was, warm and affectionate and that everything was good. And
right.
So I had to figure out where the break was going to be. Well, there really wasn't one other than when you finished your question, I said, okay,
But it's live.
go.
It's live.
I said, go. It's live.
It's live.
She's like, do we do anything wrong? It's live.
I
That's
love
my
it.
nephew. And she was like, hey, I got him. I'll take care of him. She's like, hey, because your wife is in there rehearsing. So I said, okay, cool. She's like, I got him. So cool, thank you. So
yes.
So respectfully,
it's live.
can you ask that last part of the question again, please?
So no problem. No problem. So most kids say
Yes.
I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a police
Yes.
officer. I want to be. You knew when you were 5 years old that you really wanted to be a firefighter.
I did. And something that my mom did. So I am a recovering ADHD child.
Okay.
From the 70s. And so my parents actually, they were trying to figure out, why is he so active? I mean, I was bouncing off the walls. I was everywhere. And so they were trying to figure out, what do we do about this little boy? He is everywhere. He is into everything. And I got all sorts of battle scars that have all grown in to prove it. And so they took me to UCLA to see what was wrong. All this time, all this was being documented. So what they found was, okay, we're going to leave Eric Jackson here in the corner. Eric Jackson at 10 o'clock, for example, is kind of looking around. He's seeing what's going on and so forth and so on. At 10:05, they give Eric Jackson a fire engine, and he is just all into his groove. He is doing it. He's happy. Hey, we. At 10:07, they take the fire engine away. Eric cries.
Oh no.
At 10:10, they give the fire engine back to Eric Jackson, and Eric Jackson, hey, I got my fire engine back. So,
wow.
And that was documented. I found the notes. They're at home in California, at my mom's house in California. And so from that point on, I had this affinity for fire engines. So
wow.
Anything fire engine. And back then in the 70s, the fire engines were convertibles. So I could actually see the firefighters with their helmets on and the globe red light. If you can imagine that red globe light that would be rotating, I'd see all that. I'd get excited and just lose it. So that started this affinity for any and all things red and fire engine. And that tended to be an attention grabber. So
yeah,
for Christmas and birthdays and stuff, I got fire engines and helmets and walkie-talkies and radios and all that stuff because it all kept me occupied.
So it all kept you occupied. So that's unique because some people do know. I did a panel, and I asked each one of the professionals. There were 2 doctors and a business professional on there, and I asked them all, "Are you doing what did you want to do when you grew up?" And both the doctors said, "I wanted to be a doctor." And I was like, I found that to be, wow, that's interesting, because what I wanted to do, I'm totally not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And so when people when they're doing what they said they wanted to do when they were little, I just find that to be so awesome. So 5 years old, you knew then. And so you went on this quest to continue to pursue this passion to be a firefighter.
Yes, I did. And from 5 to what will soon this June be 55, that's how long I have had.
So 50
even at its
years that
even
well, yeah.
even at its adolescence,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? That's how long I've had visions of wanting to be a firefighter. Now, I know young people have make changes throughout their lives and so forth. I mean, at one point I thought I was going to play soccer above the high school level, but it just didn't match
Mm-hmm.
the intensity and the light and the love that I had for the fire department. That's what I ended up doing. And not only did I end up doing it for the 28 and a half years paid, but I did it outside of where I was born and raised here. And so I'm here
Yeah.
in Georgia. So just really just a journey.
So what brought you from California out to Atlanta to pursue to pursue your career? So did you come to Atlanta, and where was your first job as a fireman?
So the fire department, so technically speaking, in terms of paid status, my first job as a firefighter was here in Georgia. And I came here for the fire department because I knew that I had gotten hired. I did the interview process over the phone, but it was one that I had started when I had come out here to visit before with my father, with my late father,
Mm-hmm.
for his high school, which Howard High School, which I just passed, which is newly renovated, and Morehouse College reunions. That particular year, they held them both the same year. And so I was out here for that with him, and I took the test to become to get on with the Cobb County Fire Rescue. And I actually, because they knew I was out of state, they were corresponding with me back and forth. So I actually got hired in California technically in March of 1994. No, excuse me, February of 1994. They told me I had a month to get out here. So I
Okay.
packed up the car, left California, went from 210 to 15 to the 30, or excuse me, to the 40, and dropped right on down 75 here to Atlanta in April. So,
Wow.
and the rest was history. My brother drove out here with me, flew him back, and it's been great ever since. The other thing I will mention, the fact that my dad was born and raised here, so I had
Okay.
family here. Yeah, that was a
Mm-hmm.
connection,
Mm-hmm.
that I had
So it
family
made it
here
a
that
little
I
easier.
made it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the lay of the land, and so it made it a lot simpler for me to navigate my way around. But I never thought Atlanta would end up being my home. But hey, here I am, and you know, amongst the great things that have happened, I had the opportunity to meet you, and here I am.
Wow. Well, okay. I'm gonna write you a check later, but because you're just like hopping me up right now. No, but no. So let's talk about your career
Mm-hmm.
because with Cap, we call you Captain, and as you can see, CAPUM, Captain
Yes,
Jack,
yes.
and many people affectionately call you Captain Jackson. So you didn't start off as a captain. You started off as a regular firefighter, right? So tell us a little bit about the degrees of your career before you made the captain status, and then go into public relations.
Yes, so I started off as a firefighter, entry-level firefighter, April 25th, 1994. That was my hire date. That was my first day of the academy. And I graduated, went through the academy in the hottest of summers.
Oh my
The
God.
summer 94 was pretty intense, and went through all that and graduated the academy August the 12th of 1994, which coincidentally enough ended up being the day that I got married on August 12th of 2000. So there's
Wow.
actually it's a three-way connection. I graduated the fire academy that day here in Georgia. The previous fire academy in California that I attended and was certified as a firefighter in California, graduated from that in August 12th of of 1987, and then I got married August 12th, 2000.
I just think you liked that date and you didn't want to forget. So you married Cheryl so you wouldn't You wouldn't forget that date. That's really,
Hey,
I know the truth, you know.
hey, they said to set you free.
It'll set you free, right?
They say to set you free.
So I can imagine being a firefighter. You have seen a lot of things,
I
and
have.
so tell us, like, what has been one of the biggest challenges that you face as a firefighter?
So, with respect to challenges, and I'm gonna bounce right back to that, but I start off as a firefighter. I was in a position as a relief driver, and then I promoted to the position of lieutenant. And as lieutenant, I was in charge of, I went to administration, was in charge of public education. And then not too long thereafter, I was selected by the fire chief to become the department's public information officer. So I had dual roles in doing public affairs and doing public education, and really they kind of go together. And then in 2003, I made captain, and that's what I retired as. I retired as a captain for over 15 years. I was the senior captain. Myself and my other classmate, in fact, we were the senior captains for our department at the time that we retired. And that time that I spent with the department, it was almost an even split between serving as a fire captain or a firefighter up to the rank of fire captain in the field and serving as a fire captain in public affairs.
Okay.
So the challenge for me, because the fire department is what it is. I mean, we respond, especially today's fire department, but even then when I was in the field, we get called to and respond to just about anything.
Okay.
Just about anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are exposed to a lot of things, a lot of which a lot of people really probably would rather not have to think about. So there's certainly a mental component. And I'll come back to that because I know that was one of the things you want to discuss too. But the challenge for me overall was really training my brain to be selective about what it is that I saw. Let me explain that to you very quickly.
Okay.
In the field, working accidents and shootings and heart attacks and cardiac arrests and babies and seniors and so forth, you can't control that stuff. You gotta deal with what you're dealing with. You don't really have time to be scared and time to be shell shocked. You just got to get into it. And I dealt with that. Only the good Lord allowed for those things for me to only have to deal with them when I was on the scene. Once it was over, for the most part, it left. Now, there are a few scenes that I did that I was present on that I just won't forget. But they don't keep me up at night, and that's a blessing.
Oh, that's a blessing. No, that's really a blessing.
They don't cause for me to have fits. I don't have, at least I don't think I do, have PTSD and things of that
PTSD,
nature. So I'm truly thankful for that. Once I got into public affairs, now I had a whole lot of control, because now I can really see, I can control what it is that's bad that I don't have to see. There would be things that, for example, if I went to a house fire and I was told that there were fatalities, if they told me that there were fatalities, guess what? I believed them. I didn't have
to go over there and look at it.
No, ma'am, absolutely. Because see, that's an image that stays in your brain.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have the mental capacity to be able to flush that out, it'll stick with you. And it could just make for a bad life at times, because people deal with things differently. So if I didn't have to see it, LJ, I didn't. And so I just kept it moving. And for me, from a mental health perspective, that was what worked for me.
That's worked for you.
And so that's why now there are programs in the fire department, and you talk about challenges. That's a challenge for some people, because some people realize they go on the scene and they see something. I won't describe those things in graphic order, but they see things and they're like, ooh, I didn't realize it was that bad up close.
Yes.
So I'm out. I think I'm gonna head to the IT world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not for everybody. So I think that, and that's why now there's a big push for mental health programs and looking at
Yes.
PTSD, and not really, and that whole mental health component is really, really important, especially in a profession where you see things up close and personal with all the emotions that are tied with it. So yeah, that's
Yeah, because
certainly.
you said you firefighters respond to everything, and that's the truth.
Yes.
I remember uh, when my mom was very ill, and I called 911. The
Yes.
first people that showed up before the ambulance was the firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, because you guys are usually first on this. Why do you guys respond to a scene first? What's the reasoning behind that? Because I called 911 for an ambulance,
Mm-hmm.
but a fire truck showed up first. Going, "Rrrr." My mother's like, "What's going on? Is there a fire out there?" I'm like, "No, sweetheart, this is for you." But they were first on the scene, first responder, first on the scene to, and was trained to, take vitals, find out what's going on, is everything okay? And then until the ambulance got there. So why is that?
Well, from the latest statistics, nearly 80%, actually over 80% of our calls are EMS calls. Number one. Number two,
Wow.
so with those type of startling numbers, the ambulances are just stretched beyond the limits. Remember that?
Wow.
Remember that little that toy we had, Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah.
Well, those
Yeah.
arms have snapped.
They snapped by now. They're
They
not
they have
resilient anymore.
they are snapped, and there's syrup everywhere.
Oh my
But
God, I remember Stretch.
yes, so Stretch
Wow.
Armstrong, and so that's our EMS system.
Hmm.
And so there are more fire engines than there are ambulances to go around with respect to those EMS calls. And because there are now not only EMTs, emergency medical technicians, but there are paramedics on these on these engines and the trucks, the ones where
Okay.
the firefighters are driving in the back,
Yeah, the
uh,
guy in the back.
the,
I
the,
always
the
thought, like,
tillman.
I didn't understand that. Like, did he
Yes,
really, was he really steering? Because
yes,
the funny part about that, you remember Seinfeld? Did
yes.
you ever see the episode of Seinfeld where, what's the tall guy? Oh, I can't think of his name
The
right
guy
now.
with the hair.
With the hair, he
Yes.
always wanted to drive in the back, and he got on one, and he totally destroyed this fire truck and wanted to. It was a crazy story. So anybody that's out there watching that, the Seinfeld situation where the guy was on the back there, but no, really. So it has a function, huh? That
Oh
that,
yeah,
that
it's two wheels on a full axle and everything. There's two wheels back there in the steering wheel. There's no brake, and his or her job is to steer the back end of that fire engine. So going around corners, in traffic,
yes.
making left and right turns, that's what they do. And it's an art. And to see them in
That's so.
motion is
So I
just
see. That's why you got the hand motion going on there.
yeah.
You can do that hand thing. Wow. So yeah.
So
So you guys always respond.
yes,
That's amazing, and I never knew that.
yes.
So
And
we're all, I guess, learning something tonight about why the fire department shows up before the ambulance.
oh yeah, and everyone's EMT certified. At least most folks are, at least to the level of first responder. And then of course there's more paramedics out there. So we get there first, but we have to be careful in doing so. We have to get there and get there safely, uh, including with that 500 gallons of water that's sloshing around. So we got to be careful when we're driving. But we're there and we can assess the situation. We can help stabilize the situation. Because we have paramedics on board, they
Hmm.
can, monitor heart rates and administer drugs or administer the medication that
Hmm.
are, considered controlled substances like morphine and so forth
Hmm.
until the paramedics get there. And
Hmm.
um, then we can get the patient transported
Hmm.
to the hospital. So it works out. It works out great, and
Yeah.
departments all around the country are doing it.
It makes a lot of sense though, because
Yes.
there are more fire departments or firefighters and fire trucks than there are ambulances because they are stretched so far.
Yes,
and so they can get there and kind of stable the situation. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever delivered a baby?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
delivered a baby?
yeah. Me and my firefighters, we sure did. I did it a couple of times. I didn't have as many of as others have had, but I did have it. And one time, I went. We got ready to deliver this baby. She said she was crowning, and for those who don't know, crowning is a telltale sign that the baby is coming. Birth is imminent, is what they
It's
said.
imminent.
And you as a firefighter, that's the question is, how do I know that she's ready to deliver? Well, and that woman is not going to be too shy in having to spread eagle so that you can see
You can get
where
this
the
baby out.
baby get this baby out. If you see the head, it's on and popping.
So,
So
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 you have. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, but
Wow.
this was her third one. So
Okay, so she was a professional. She knew what was
so
up.
so LJ, when she opened up, the baby just came right on out, and my firefighter actually caught the baby.
Oh my goodness.
It smooth came out. It wasn't kind of a shoulder down
No.
and then up and nah, the baby whoop,
Whoop.
and he caught the baby, and I got the little foil and we wrapped the baby up, and I mean it was a really
Wow.
quick process. So, but I've also seen it where it's been the normal natural birthing process that takes place. So yeah, I was fortunate to see that, and that's one of the joys of the fire service, because you're from a medical standpoint, because you're there and you're you're welcoming life. And this is how the fire service can be in one 24-hour shift. At the beginning of your shift, you could welcome a brand new baby boy or girl or twins into the world. But at the end of the shift, you could go on a call at a rest home where
Mhm.
someone is in full cardiac arrest,
Yeah. Wow.
where you can tell that the
This is end of
resuscitation
life. Yeah.
efforts resuscitation efforts are going to be ceased, and that's going
Wow.
to be the end. So
Wow.
you see both ends of the
You can
spectrum.
see the spectrum. Like you can start off with a woo, and then it can end with a wow.
Right.
Wow. So not know if I don't know if I've ever told you this, but so I used to live in New Haven, Connecticut, and I delivered my son, my oldest son, at Yale New Haven Hospital.
Wow.
But it was a firefighter that got me into the hospital.
Mm,
It, so thank God for you firefighters.
there
So
we go.
I was in full blown labor,
Mm,
and we were trying to get to the hospital, and there
mm-hmm.
was a fire near the hospital, and all of the streets that was leading to the hospital were blocked to regular people. I mean, if I was in an ambulance, then that would have been something different, but I was not in an ambulance. And I'm
Wow.
in full blown labor, like first child, full blown labor, thinking I'm going to die. And I decide that I'm going to get out of this car because there's no way in the world I'm going to deliver this baby in the car. And I'm a block away from Yale New Haven Hospital, and I'm going to get out of this car. And I could probably walk faster in labor to the hospital than to
Wow.
sit in this car and hope that I could be directed, because I did not want to be I did not want to deliver in a car, and it's cold. Now I have
Right.
my son, he just celebrated his 42nd birthday, but don't tell him.
I'm
Don't
not
tell
saying
him.
nothing.
Don't
I'm
say
not saying nothing.
nothing. So that was on Saturday. He just celebrated. But it was New Haven, Connecticut in March, freezing, still very cold up there. And I was just not having a baby in a car. It just was not going to happen. So I decided to get out of the car and walk that block. And so I'm in labor and I'm stopping, and and a firefighter saw me, and they were like, and I'm just trying, I'm in labor. I'm in labor. And they grabbed me. They went and got a wheelchair, and I was brought into to the hospital in a wheelchair by a firefighter. So hands off to the firefighter who really helped me to deliver my baby in the hospital, but not in the car, because I could have delivered in that car straight away. Straight away, because I was way like dilated and the whole 9 yards, and I was just like, okay, give me a second, and I cut. And when the firefighter saw me, he was like, wait, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm in labor and I'm going to have this baby, and I'm walking. So my son always laughs like, oh God, the firefighter story. Yeah, son. Yeah, the firefighter story. But
firefighter story.
You have delivered a couple babies. Wow.
Yes.
So what type of training would a person that is interested in becoming a firefighter, what type of training would they have to go through?
Some very intense physical training. And one of the things that we like to share with the young people is to make sure, if they can, and if programs like that are offered, to get in kind of like some physical fitness programs or pre-employment physical fitness programs to really hone in on the types of skill sets that you'll need to be able to perform as a firefighter. Now, for example, there were programs where not only did they concentrate, they concentrated a lot on upper body strength, because when you're throwing those ladders that you see up against the wall, that's upper body strength. That's chest, that's arms, that's shoulders, that's back. And those upper body strengths for both men and women that need to be perfected, because you're going to be doing a lot of work in that profession. So anything that will allow you to work on breathing techniques, anything that will allow you to work on strength and conditioning, anything that will allow you to concentrate your efforts on endurance. Can't forget about the heart, the cardio, right?
Right.
Anything that will allow you to broaden those areas will be good, because when you get to these fire departments, they're going to do physical fitness assessments. They're going to want to see, or they're going to set up scenarios to see where you are and if you can properly perform those types of functions. And just being fully transparent, a lot of those programs would come online and have come online in recent years for our ladies, because that was something that they oftentimes lacked, was that upper body strength. So there was emphasis that was placed on them, for them, to make sure that they could satisfy those requirements in order to get into the fire service. So it wasn't a gimme, and not every lady could do it. And for that matter, not even every guy could do it.
Yeah.
But we know that there were ladies that were found over the years that were like, hey, how can we help them in that area? Not give them a pass, not give them a mulligan. I'm sure you know what that is.
I do.
But to how can we assist them in them being the best that they could be? So there would be ladies helping ladies, and men helping ladies, and men helping men and ladies, that would really get them to par, so that when they would take these tests, they would pass them successfully and then proceed on into the fire service.
So I want to really kind of, because I just can't believe the time is moving fast, but I really want to kind of hone in on a couple quick, cool things. So 28 and a half years with DeKalb County, but towards the end of your career with DeKalb County, you embarked on something a little bit, you furthered your training, and you went into rescue diving. Search and rescue.
I did.
Underwater.
I did.
So, and I would never forget the day you called me and you sent me some pictures, and I almost said what you call me, but Cap and I have been friends for years, and so he calls me Jeezy. For Jeezy. For shizzle, like for shizzle, my nizzle. But
yes.
For Jeezy.
For Jeezy.
Jeezy, what you doing? So I'll never forget, he's like, Jeezy, guess what? And I'm like, what's up, Captain? He was like, look at where I am. And I'm like, wait a minute, where are you and what are you doing? And you were taking dive training. Now, you called me because I am I'm PADI certified. I've been certified as a scuba diver since 2009. And
Mm-hmm.
you were going through the whole dive tables, the whole thing, and you called me and was like, Jeezy, what is this all about? And you were diving. You guys did your training in some sort of like quarry looking place. Where did y'all train? Y'all did do your external water open.
We've trained from everywhere, from the state pool down at the Georgia Fire Academy down in Forsyth, Georgia, to quarries up in North Georgia. We did our final dive in Panama City.
Okay.
Panama City, out in the ocean, about 5 miles out and about 100 feet deep. And it was just one of the greatest things. And I have to tell you that I really wanted to keep it a secret, kind of sort of, from you for as long as I could. But I will let your audience know that you were an inspiration in me wanting to do that. And just so that people will know, these are my cards.
Certifications. Don't make me pull my cards out. So what you got? Yeah. What do you got? You got 4?
So I got open water.
Open water.
I got enriched air.
Okay, enriched air
diver.
Is that night? That's nitrox, right?
It is.
Uh-huh.
I've got advanced open water diver.
You got advanced?
Yes, and I got the one that really helped seal the deal, and that is rescue diver.
Yay!
So
see, I have 3. I only have 3. Mine is open water. I have nitrox, enriched air, nitrox. And then I have underwater photography. So that's like a little bit of
nice.
That's a minor, right? But nitrox was intense. And then of course open water was intense. And I actually got nitrox certified through SSI. So are you SSI or PADI? Are those PADI?
PADI.
Okay, so I'm PADI open water and I'm SSI nitrox and underwater photography.
Yeah, and see, in PADI, it's actually down here at the bottom if your audience can see. So that's the there it is. That's
I got a shark on mine. I got a shark, and I was scared to death of sharks when I was down there diving, but I got a shark. I'm like, I'm gonna get a shark on mine.
Jeezy, I did it.
See?
I did it.
We did it.
And I'll show you this too. These are 2 more certifications that I had, and this is for ERD diver technician 1 and 2.
Okay.
And that's
so you went way past Jeezy. You went way past Jeezy.
I did a little something with it, but the fact that you were telling me about your diving really intrigued me. So I just, when the opportunity came, I just up and did it.
No, and you went all in. You went all in. So I went on a liveaboard in Turks and Caicos. So I've been diving all around the world.
I haven't been there. I haven't been to Turks and Caicos. Everybody had been to Turks and Caicos.
I've been to Turks, and I did a liveaboard. So it's a 120-foot boat with 18 divers on it. And that's all you do is you dive. For 8 days, we just sailed around Grand Turks Island, and we just dive at different places. And there were 5 dives a day. So morning, mid-morning, afternoon, mid-afternoon, and then night dive. So 5 dives a day that you can dive, because that's what, if you're serious about diving, that's the kind of the thing you would do. And so, and I would do the morning dive or sometimes the afternoon dive. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm going up on the top of this boat and I'm going to sleep the rest. Because diving will knock you out. You will be, you hungry and you tired. You breathing all that air. All you want to do is just eat, and then you want to sleep. There are many pictures of me on dive trips knocked out because I've been. So the cool thing about it is they were like, you should go do, they were offering nitrox air on the boat. So, are you going to be doing just enriched air, regular air, or are you going to be doing nitrox? And I was like, well, I'm not certified to breathe nitrox. And they were like, well, we can certify you. So that 8 days that I was on board, that liveaboard, which you lived there, we had a chef, we had, stewards, he had everything that catered to us,
Yes.
We were in cabins. It was a huge, huge boat. And I got certified by the captain. So I had to take tests. I had to study. So I mean, you had to learn so much. And there were days you could see there were pictures of me just headphones on, just I'm on vacation and I'm studying, but I was determined that I was going to go get that certification. And when we the last day on the boat, the last night on the boat, they had a graduation. We would do something for the 100th dive. We would mess people up when they hit their 100th dive. Oh, they would do bad things to them, like put cake flour. We would make a cake on them, put cake flour on them, syrup and chocolate on them. I mean, we would just put eggs on them. They would just do that. And then they would have to jump in the ocean just to wash themselves off. It was bad, but I'm glad I didn't get broken like that. They didn't do anything like that to me. They just, had a big old celebration. And then the third certification is underwater photography.
That's awesome.
And someone would say, well, why is that? Why do you need to have a certification with that? Well, really, the certification just says that you finished a course. But the biggest challenge or the biggest learning there is learning how to breathe. Because you have to be, stay buoyant, but it's just how to breathe enough to stay still so that you can shoot the shot.
Right.
And that was really amazing. So we would go get in the swimming pool and they would put all sorts of figurines down at the bottom of the pool. And then you would just kind of hover over them and shoot them. So yeah, we have this in common. Have you gone diving recreationally since you've got all the 9,000 certifications?
Right. Well, so no, and it's kind of a unfortunate story, but one of how God just keeps on blessing. Back in 2019, I was at the fire station, and seemingly everything was going okay till old Captain Jack, Captain C-A-P-U-M, Captain started having a little pain over here in his backside. Well, after some time, I ended up going to the ER, and 2 hospitals later and 3 CAT scans, CT scans later, they found that I had pulmonary embolisms. And for those who do not know, basically I had blood clots in my lungs.
Yes.
And so obviously potentially dangerous. I had to stop diving because that just wasn't going to be something conducive.
It's not a good connection.
No, not at all.
Not a good connection.
Not at all. But it's certainly a blessing from the good Lord, because you and I both know that blood clots can take you out quick, fast, and hurry. They will take you out.
Absolutely.
And so I was fortunate enough to be able to have experienced the opportunity to become a rescue diver, and to say that both you and I had something very much so in common.
Yes.
But I had to let it go. The doctor suggested it, but even more importantly, Miss Jackson suggested it.
And not me. Okay, but I second that motion. But I second Shell's motion, like, honey,
right.
you finna stop, okay?
Absolutely, yeah. You gotta stop.
You
can't do this
a little bit longer. So
we need you can't do this. So
you can't do it.
Yeah.
I think the last time I went diving was 2016. I still have all my gear, camera equipment. It's a very expensive sport, but
yes,
I've been diving with sharks, and it's not a fun thing to do. I used to tell my instructors that sharks don't like dark meat. And he was Cuban. I was that girl in class. We did theory. So I got my certification. I did my theory at CNN when I was working at CNN at the health club. And then we did our open water at Georgia Tech. So in the well, the 17-foot diving well, that's where I did my open water. That's when I did my confined water. My open water was done in Bimini. And so I was the girl in class. So when you're on your cycle, will the sharks, can they sense that? Because I was just not sure, and he was like, God, there's one in every class. And here, I thought I was going to get away with not having one in every class. So, teacher, so did you know that, do sharks like dark meat? I don't think, do they just like the white meat? Or I had it for him, considering that I didn't know how to swim when I took my course. That's a whole nother story. If you get my book Hollow, I chronicle all of my diving experience, not knowing how to swim and taking diving lessons, and had to learn to swim, which I'm an avid swimmer. I swim very well now. I love to swim, but I couldn't swim when I first started taking the courses. So that's a crazy another story. Go out to my book Hollow when everything that means anything is taken away and read that story, because that is a stupid story.
And,
like,
and look,
how do you go take a diving course and you don't know how to swim? But at that time, I just felt like I could do anything.
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn to dive.
You felt empowered, and
I was empowered.
We're feeling it. And two things to go along with that. One funny, and the other kind of serious. One is, if you get bit by a shark, it will bite you to the white meat.
Yeah, you're gonna be bit to the white, and you're gonna bleed. You're gonna bleed.
You're gonna bleed for real, and attract some more of their family.
Attract their family. And so in Turks, we dove with black tips. And those are, I just can describe them as like the baby jaws, the baby version of the jaw, the teeth and everything. And there is a YouTube video. Maybe I will play it one day on the podcast, but there is a YouTube video of me getting the heck out of the way of one that we call Big Mama, because she was pregnant. And so, but I have some very beautiful pictures that I shot of her, underneath her as a pregnant shark. And so, so been there, done that, got the t-shirt, checked the box. I think I'm good. I don't think I need to do it anymore. I'll just go to the pool. And I love the ocean, so I'll just hang out at the beach.
I would love to go diving again, Jeezy. And one thing that I discovered when I was diving, that I was overcoming a fear. And I kind of blame it on my brother, but a lot of us back in the 70s, the 80s, there was this movie called Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a whole bunch of folks messed up, myself included. I just didn't realize it. I had no problem going to the beach and playing and frolicking in the water, but further out there, I just didn't know. So when I went on my dive and had to dive 100 feet, I was scared the whole time, because I knew that the time had come. It's time to face the music. I need to face that fear. And I was able to do it. I just had to, tell my brain to kind of be quiet and go sit in the corner, because when you're diving, and if you're not breathing right, and if you ascend too quickly, and if you don't stop and take those breaks, you're going to end up in the hospital or worse. So
if the deep go through compression, that whole 9 yards, that's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
I've never had to do it. Thank God. I've always did my safety stops. I've never had to do it. But when you go deep like that, I did. I've done 100 feet. I've done 100 feet in Fort Lauderdale. We did the USS Spiegel Row. We went to do a wreck dive. But my deepest was 130 off the continental shelf in Bimini. And you can only stay down there 19 minutes. But I wanted to say this is that down that deep, and that's where the big stuff is.
It is.
That's where the big stuff is. So all that little surface fish we see, like, oh my God, that's a fish. They up at the surface. They 30, 40 feet. You might think 30, 40 feet is, when I first got in 40 feet, I was like, oh my God, I'm in 40 feet. But when I got into 80 feet, I was like, oh, I'm in 80 feet. And then when I went to 130 feet, which was not the bottom of the shelf was 150 that had a $2,000 foot drop into the abyss in Bimini. So the continental shelf in Bimini is like a L-shaped wall of coral. Okay. And at the base of it is 150. And then over to the side is where the drop comes to 2,000 feet. And it's cold down there, as you know. It's very cold down there because the sun can't get down that far. So it's cold. You can feel the temperature change drastically. So, I have a couple of 3 mil wetsuits. I got a 5 mil of 3 mil, and that's millimeter thickness. So that you get that deep, you can still stay warm, because it's chilly down there.
It is chilly.
So we would only go to 130, hang over 130. We could see the bottom of the shelf. And then we would swim over just to look down to see the abyss, and I did that dive twice. So check the box.
Wow.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
So that diving
Jeezy's
is a
done.
wonderful thing.
It is
Jeezy is
beautiful.
done.
Jeezy is done, but I've seen big stuff like, crazy, like tuna, grouper, big,
Yes.
huge group. Like groupers are mean. They're not nice fish. They will
And they're
not,
and
and they
they
are
are
big.
they are mean, and they're big as Volkswagens.
Exactly. And they have big mouths. And another fish that is more, and I don't know how we just got on this, but another fish that is more, I think, treacherous than a shark is a freaking barracuda. A barracuda is a striker, and they just sit in the water like this. And so sometimes you're swimming, like we would go to each other like barracuda. So be careful, because they'll just strike you. And if a barracuda strikes you, you know you've been struck. So I've not had any issues, thank God. I've done a couple night dives. First time I went, I did not like it. And the second time I did stay the whole duration, but there's a different group of animals and fish that come out at night than during the day. So, but anyway, that's something that we have in common, which is exciting. I want to just show this before we leave, because most people may not recognize you in your attire right now. And so this is the attire that most people are used to seeing you in. This is the attire that most people are used to. You're on CBS 46 right here, and you're now working with South Fulton. You're a lieutenant with South Fulton Fire, but this is the face that I would always see all the time for DeKalb County. This was the guy. I'm like, ain't you the guy on TV that's always there? And so I wanted to share with people real quick. When I started this podcast a year ago, I did some beta testing, and you came on and did some beta testing, and literally you announced during the beta testing on this show that you were coming out of retirement after being with DeKalb County for 28 and a half years, that you were going back into the workforce for South Fulton. So tell us a little bit about that. What are you doing with South Fulton?
So I'm doing public affairs with City of South Fulton, and which is a new city just outside of the city of Atlanta. And it's actually, we're into our 5th year. So we just had a 5th year celebration of the city and its existence, and the fire department and its existence. So that's where I'm working now, doing public affairs. I actually came out of retirement. I've been there a year and 2 weeks now.
I know.
So, and I'm enjoying it. But I will say this, I have recently embarked on some entrepreneurial interests.
Okay.
So I'm currently pursuing those, and I'm going to see what that entrepreneurial life is like. One thing is can be said, we're only given one life, and I think it's important that we enjoy it to the fullest. So if there are ideas, and while I'm telling your audience, I'm also telling myself, while there are, and you've heard this, there are a lot of folks that are laying down in the cemetery in other places.
I just said that
with a lot of great ideas that never came to fruition. And I know it's more work. Tell me something that's really gonna scare me, but I want to experience being an owner of my own business and doing the work and doing what's necessary to keep it afloat. I'm not asking for all the various issues and challenges and so forth that entrepreneurs and business owners face, but hey, it's reality. It's what happens. But there is a wonderful side to that. But I want to be able to experience that. I want to be able to, do all those things that entrepreneurs do. And so I'm very grateful for the pension that DeKalb County is allowed for me to have and my family to have, to be able to sustain ourselves. But I'm also thankful for what City of South Fulton is currently doing. But I'll be remiss and I'd be telling a big fat tale if I didn't say that the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial interest, the entrepreneurial ambitions, I believe are starting to overtake me. So we'll see. I'm enjoying myself, but I'm not too over the top to say that everything runs a course,
Yes, 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 yes,
right? And
absolutely.
so sometimes you just have to make room for others to come in and for them to shine, because public relations, even as we know it now, is different from what it was 5, 10 years ago.
That's
And
right.
don't even throw the pandemic into, because folks
Correct.
had time to be creative and do all this extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's where I am, but I love retirement. I enjoy it, but I really want to get the full breadth of it. You know, my mom, thank the Lord, she's still alive and well. And I will mention this: my mom, she does have dementia,
Okay.
but she doesn't have it as bad as others that I've seen. So she
Yeah,
still recognizes me, my voice on the phone, and yeah, she has her days of forgetfulness. Heck, we all do.
we do.
Um, but I, you know, she is dealing with that, and so
Mhm.
my sense of urgency to want to spend more time with her in California is
Yeah,
certainly upon me. So I don't want those moments to really get by me, and juggling family and entrepreneurial interest and everything else. You know, just kind of have to
yeah,
prioritize some things, and so retirement is good. Um, but I want to make sure I get that time in with my mom, especially during the time while she remembers. I
yes,
think
that's
that's
important.
important.
Yeah, that's
That's
super
important
important.
to
Yeah,
say. And dealing with dementia and dealing with folks who have Alzheimer's is really tough. And
yeah,
I have even felt those challenges. The thing that brings me solace is the fact that, you know, I know that 10 years ago, mom's memory was tight. It was sharp. She wasn't forgetting a
mm-hmm,
thing. So
mm-hmm,
at one point, Lynette, even though I may ask her something simple she doesn't remember, I know that at one point she would remember. So mom's
mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
good. I just have to kind of, tell my brain, hey, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the moments where she forgets, and it may
Yes,
be frustrating, or things that she would normally do she doesn't quite remember. She asks you how many days of the week it is 10 times, and it's the same answer every time. You just have to kind of, move and get past that. But hey, that's this thing called uh, LIFE.
mhm.
So,
Yes, it is. It
but
is
hey,
life. And so I heard someone say one time that there are over 2 or 4 thousand promises in the Bible, and
mm,
tomorrow is not one of them. And
ooh,
so we have to live every day. People say, well, I only live once. And I correct them immediately and say, let me say something to you. I'm living every day, but I'm going to
mm,
die one time. So I'm not going to die several times. So they'll be like, oh,
mm,
you live once. You only live once. I live every day. I live
right,
every single day. And I want to live according to what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's why, I realized that even with me starting speaking again, it's just like that is the desire of my heart. I know that's what I've been called to do. And
right,
I've done a lot of things. I've seen a lot of places. I've gone a lot of places and I've met a lot of people. But the most important thing now that I'm in my 60s, about to be 62 this year, is that I need to
mm,
do and fulfill the promises of God on my life. I must fulfill those things that I've been
right,
placed on this earth for. My inhaling and exhaling are not just because I'm like, okay, I'm inhaling. No, they are living and breathing. I'm inhaling and exhaling for my purpose, what I'm supposed to
right.
do. It's more serious now, and so it's more serious. So I'm going to do every single thing that I'm supposed to do, and I am going to see the world, and I'm going to enjoy it. That's the cool thing about being in the purpose, your will and your purpose that God has placed on you, because the benefit to being in the purpose is you get to see the world, you get to
Yes.
see the greatness, you get to I got more close to God scuba diving than any church I've ever sat in. I learned
Mm,
more about God underwater than any
wow.
church that I've ever lived in. And the thing that I've learned more about God was how great He is. how
Mm.
great thou art. You've seen the fish, the color coordination of fish, the different species. And I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, how coral is a living, breathing entity underwater. It's another world. Don't make me
Another world.
it is a complete different world that's running concurrently with this world that we live on above. And I've been so graced and blessed to be able to go underwater, hundreds of feet underwater, to see God's creation that most
Yeah,
people will never get a chance to see. But that's
you're
all
right.
about being in your purpose. So when you're in your purpose and you're able to do what God has put you on this earth, the benefit is that you get a chance to see how great He is. You get to
Mm.
see how awesome He is. You get to
Yeah.
see places that and experience things that you've never seen, experienced, or even tasted. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, don't make me preach
Mm.
now. Oh, taste and
Hey,
see that the
hey,
Lord is
hey.
good. So we have to, I know for me, I am on this quest to live out what I'm supposed to live out, the things that I'm supposed to do. And I'm with that, He's going to show me the benefits that of His greatness of showing me all the world. So I say to you, Captain Jackson, you live every day. You're going to die once. Do what makes you happy. Take care of your wife, your children, your mom. Do the things that you need to do and stay in purpose. And so, if entrepreneurship is a part of the purpose, you've always been in service, which is a blessing. And
Mhm.
you've sown so many good seeds into so many people's lives. And so you have a harvest of that that's going to come back to you. So allow God to use you in a way where you can give more service to people in a mighty way. And if that's through entrepreneurship, then go for it. Do what makes you happy and love
Yeah.
on people while you're doing
That's such an important thing to say and for people to hear because you just don't want to go through life wasting
it.
time. You just don't
Absolutely. So
because
many people are
it's not.
wasting time. It's like, well, I got to brush my teeth today, and I just brushed them yesterday. Thank God you got some teeth to brush, because some people don't have no teeth. Okay, like you got up and then I said this to a family member not long ago. I said, you know what? What we do is take life for granted so much. When you wake up and you realize that you woke up,
Mm,
oh, that's an amazing day. Because
yeah.
there are people who didn't get up. I mean, and you know this
Hmm.
yourself. They didn't wake up today. There are thousands of people that did not open their eyes today. And so when you have an
Wow.
opportunity to open your eyes today and you realize you're conscious enough to know that my
Hmm.
eyes are open, I'm still breathing. I know how to use the restroom because some people don't know how to use a restroom. They're up,
Right.
but they can't use the restroom. They don't know, like you're saying, your mom has dementia. They don't when you still have your faculties and you can still dress yourself and you ain't got
Yeah.
on polka dots with orange and a crazy and you're like, what's wrong with Captain? When you still there, thank God for it. Thank God. Don't ever forget to thank God for. So I'm not gonna preach because I could go. I could go in. Because
Oh, I already know.
I love the Lord and I can go in. But I just want to say thank you so much. It's always so good. I thank you for your friendship. And it's always so good to be able to have a conversation with you. I'll bounce ideas. We bounce ideas off of each other. I
We
love your
do.
wife. She is an amazing, amazing sister. So don't forget to tell her what I told you today.
I will.
Yeah, don't
I will
forget to
tell
tell her now, okay?
her.
All
I
right, but
will.
I love her and I love you guys both, and I'm just so grateful and honored that you would call me friend.
Oh,
The man
absolutely.
from the TV that he would call me friend. When we met
Yes.
that one day back there with Hank Stewart, and we thank God for Hank Stewart, because if
Yep.
he didn't answer his yes, I don't think I probably would have ever met you.
Probably not.
Let's
And
just
I
put it
mean,
like that.
yeah. I
So
mean
thanks,
that
Hank.
day. Hey, appreciate you, bruh.
Appreciate you, Hank.
And
Mad love for you.
and Hank is just doing amazing things
Yes, he
with the Hank
is.
Stewart Foundation and all that he's done. I mean, he has spoken in front of thousands. I mean, Emmy Award winning, spoke in front of
That's right.
our former First Lady, still the first lady.
That's right.
Once a first lady, always the first lady,
Always
Michelle
a first
Obama.
lady.
And he's just done wonderful things here in the Metro Atlanta, not only the Metro Atlanta area, but here in the state of Georgia and even outside of the state.
And what
So
the
just
Stewart
really,
Foundation stands for. So I'm going to have Hank
absolutely,
on the podcast to
absolutely,
talk about. Hank, you hear that? We're calling you out now.
we calling
So
you
when
out,
I
bruh.
call on you, don't say you can't do it because Captain said you need to do it.
Well, yeah, and bring one of your poems with you, brother.
Yeah, and bring a poem because the brother ain't no joke.
He is no joke. He is no him
Well,
and Gwen are
thank
no
you.
joke.
I know you don't get an Emmy just because you good looking. You get an Emmy for the work, and Hank has done the work. So,
He has
well,
done the
bro,
work.
I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. I thank God for you, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedule because your family's in there doing their thing, and you out here in the car chatting it up with old Jeezy. So,
But you know what though, I think it's important to honor your commitments. Even though I have a commitment to show up here for Wifey's 5th annual DeKalb County Student Film Festival. I also have a commitment to you because I said I would be on the show. So
yes,
you just have
thank
to
you.
make it work and plug it in. And thankfully, I had that young lady walk around the car who, after she inquired to make sure everything was okay, she said, "Hey, don't worry about your nephew. I got him. I take care of him." That's
That's good.
love. That's that
Lovely.
blessing. That's
That's
that
that
covering.
blessing. That's that
You
covering.
know.
You're right.
So, but very quickly, let me just shout out a couple of people. My brother Craig in California, who he's been taking care of my mom.
Yeah. Wow.
He's retiring from the county of Los Angeles after 38 years of service with the Department of Public Social Services, and he's staying with my mom. And if it wasn't for him, um,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. He holds it down every day, and it's so important to have that family support, that village,
Yes.
because and that's why I try to get out there, to give him a break, to
Hmm.
give him a breather, because it gets tough.
Yes.
But that home care is nothing like it,
Nothing.
and he really steps up to the plate. And then of course, my family, my aunt, my uncles, my cousins, all who have helped out there in California to help continue to maintain mom and give her the life that she so deserves. But I also thank my alma mater, my high school class at John Muir High School in Pasadena. I shared this podcast amongst my social media. Well, my nephew shared it while I was driving. He's able to push that out for me. Just kind of dictated him what I wanted him to say, and he
Okay.
put the message out. So I shout out my high school class. We're just super close. The class of '86, and I just have wonderful friends out there, and they've all been supportive in their own special ways, even if it's just a regular message. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Just the closeness of our class has really played a role. And then of course my family here in Georgia. So there's nothing that I've done, um, and nothing that I've said that hasn't come without some help from the outside.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
Even my friend whose podcast I used to be a member of all the time,
Yes.
I used to do podcasts with. So everyone's had their role. Everyone's played a part. So it just hadn't been about Eric L. Jackson, Beverly Jackson's baby boy from the beginning. I've had help the entire way,
It takes a
from
village.
the village,
It's a
both
village.
sides of the family, and my friends, and even those who I may not have had the greatest relationships with, and so forth. I've always been able to pull something away from that's helped to make me a better person.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm just thankful. I certainly believe in networking and relationships and building alliances and so forth. And I
Hmm.
believe that's
Hmm.
something that
Hmm.
I've done with you and countless others.
Yes.
And so I'm just truly thankful for you and what you're doing. Thankful to
Thank
God
you.
for the opportunity, and thankful for this platform. Again, your podcast is wonderful. It's lovely. I hope a zillion and one people have tuned in and will follow you and support you for what you do. And once again, as I did at the beginning of the show, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to come back on your platform again and talk to you
Yes.
about little old Captain CAP.
Well, you can always
Get
come
you
back because there are
in.
some things that, and I think we'll have you come back again because there are some things that I didn't get a chance to even, to talk about, and
Right.
which is really of the public safety aspect of what you do, and why that is so important, like the
Yeah.
public safety aspect of what you do, and there you can go out there and find a lot of videos on YouTube about the proper way to fry a turkey and the improper way to fry a turkey, because people be burning their houses down. And so thank God for you, Cap, for out there doing these teaching things and how to extinguish a grease fire and things like that. These are things these are things that this is why it's called public safety, but these are things why people burn their houses down and lose lives. And my childhood home was burnt down because my niece was frying French fries, and fire up high, French fries frying, and walked away. And I don't know what she was doing, but she walked away, and before you know it, her sister would have been killed in that fire because she was in the bedroom above the kitchen.
Wow.
And but that for some reason she got up out of the bed and wasn't in the room. And the only fatality was the cat, but unfortunately, but still, grease fires, and it just went up, and especially in older homes. And so we do need to come back and talk about the public safety aspect of what you do, and maybe have you come and give us some details. Barbecue season is coming up, and we'll burn down something with the barbecue grills, and we'll tear up some stuff. We do it during the holidays, frying stuff. We be frying
Right.
turkeys in our garages, burning down garages. So
burning down houses and garages and sheds and everything.
And sheds and everything. So we'll have to have you come back. Thank you so much for speaking out loud with us today and just sharing a little bit of the story behind the brand and the story behind the uniform. Thank you. God bless. And we'll see you next time. All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We went a little bit long, but Kat and I can do that because we just good friends like that. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, share, and like this podcast with anybody that that you feel could benefit from this. And remember that God loves you. I love you. But most importantly, learn to love yourself. Bye for now.
You've been watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand with your host, Lynette Jackson. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And until next week, don't forget to use your voice to speak out loud.